and their talk is called Creating the Market Research Platform of the Future. Take it away.
Thank you.
Right here. Here you go. Good morning. How's everything doing here? Well, first of all, I would like to thank Green Book for inviting us to do this presentation here. So when we talk about the future, really, I get a little bit nervous, right? Because really to predict the future is not an easy thing, right? I mean, we've seen all these attempts, failed attempts to predict the future, and they're not funny at all. So basically, what I do as a researcher, then what we do is the following. Okay, let's take really some data, some trends that really that we see in the market, right? And based on that, kind of like predict, or at least say, well, this is probably what the platform of the future will be, okay? So the first thing that we do is actually, as we know, we probably have seen, or most of you have seen the new grid report, when we see that there's an increased adoption of these new methodologies, right? So that's something that is going on. I think there is a trend here where we can see that, on the one hand, we have mobile surveys, at the top, right, as one type of new technology that's being adopted. We have 67% of researchers who have actually adopted already, or 23% that is willing to use it, during that year. And then we have, within the top, methodologies, and we have big data analytics as well, where we have 68% of researchers who are interested in at least interested in using it during that year, right? And then we have everything else in between, right? So we have all these new methodologies. So it's not really only one, but you have various ones here, okay? And then of course on top of that, then you have these skills that you need either to improve or either to develop, for these new methods, okay? So going back to all these methodologies or these techniques, if you will, to put it that way, really the idea is really, or in real life, we don't have all these methodologies, all over the place. Really, the idea is really to integrate all these techniques, because when you go there, there's specific. And we've seen this a lot with clients. Well, we have to use various types of these methodologies, not just one, right? So that's the first thing. We need to integrate. We need to have something. We need to have a platform, to integrate all these type of new methodologies, right? And then we see that mobile right there. It's on the top, right? It's kind of like that new key in the block that everyone wants to get involved with that. But anyways, the first puzzle, that's just the first puzzle to integrate that. Okay, and I believe, honestly, with all this technology, it's not that it's easy. It's a hard task, but just one of the puzzles, okay, which is integration. Okay, let's go ahead and try to integrate that. But there's a second one, which is actually much, much harder, and that's when you get involved with big data, which is the following, which is really access to the consumer, to external consumer-generated data. Okay, you probably know, that's becoming every time. I don't know if some of you have actually done with social media monitoring or social media listening, but every time you have Facebook or Twitter putting obstacles really to get even the public data. So we have various things that's happening. On the one hand, we have the consumers that on the one hand they say, well, with all the things, the problems they're having, I prefer to have my content private. So right away, I'm going to get my content, so I'm just going to share with my friends or with people that I know, and that's about it. Okay. Really public only, what you see public really, and we do a lot of social media monitoring, is really what? Are the fan pages. Because that's where it is. I mean, you don't get much public information from the consumers. Every time you have less and less, right? So that's a big challenge. Okay, yeah, we have all these fancy platforms. So how the hell are we going to get that information, if we're going to do big data, right? On the other hand, you have all these social networks. I was saying Facebook's putting a lot of obstacles on it. And you're going to say, well, yeah, that's because Facebook and Twitter respect privacy of the consumer. That might be true. But you know why? Because they're going to be in that arena. Because, you have Twitter, you have Facebook, and you can see it now. I mean, you can go to Facebook, and you can basically they're beginning to sell these big data analytics information. So you have that. Okay, so what is that then? What should we do? I mean, how are we going to access those consumer data? It's really that, the trust, collaboration, engagement with these consumers. That's the only way to do it, right? So what does that mean? That really that integration, that new platform of the future, would involve not only a platform that integrates all these methodologies, which is a lot of that has to do with technology. Of course, it has to do with modeling as well, with market research. But then you have that big part of it, which is engaging the consumer, trusting them so they can actually go ahead and somehow share with you their private information. Yes, we're doing that. We're beginning to say, hey, you know what? This was happening in the world with Facebook. So let's go ahead and build something in our community where they can try to say, hey, you know what? Can you share with us your private, it sounds very bad, but they will do it. Just share with us your private content of Facebook, right? What we're going to do is just analysis. I mean, we're going to identify you as Joe, but we need to do this in order to understand, needs. That's basically all. And if you're part of a community, and you're a trustful community, they say, yeah, not a problem. Of course, you have to give an incentive. It's normal, right, like anything else. But that's key. If you don't have that, we're going to depend on Facebook completely. I mean, that's more than where. So now in the mobile world, the good thing about it is that you're going to get some of these passive data anyways, right? So you go ahead, and we do that a lot as well. We go ahead and say, okay, we're going to give you this API, so they come in, and you're going to get a lot of this passive data. But the problem is not really the passive data, because the passive data is there. It's really that, consumer-generated data, that information, that content that I was saying that Facebook is giving you, that Twitter every time is making it more difficult, and so on. So that's, so really the formula right here, if you want to talk about formula, is that, a platform that integrates all these new methodologies plus the engagement factor, and that's where Adriana is going to come along and talk to you a little bit about that platform of the future.
Thank you. Okay, so in the last years, we've managed to integrate some of these technologies in order to build this integrated platform. And I'm going to share with you some of this experience and a real case study with one of our clients, HBO, where we've built for them a private social media platform for a continuous engagement and insight generation with HBO fans, followers, and viewers in Latin America. So using this platform, HBO has moved some of their big trackers into this new integrated platform that is social. So when users log in, they find an interface where they can continuously engage in different types of activities. They can generate their content. They can share experiences anytime. They can upload videos. They can rate and comment upon other viewers' experience. And the HBO research team has worked with our team that involves designers, people with marketing and communication background, because it's a live, interface where people are coming and, at all the time looking for new information and engaging. And we have used it, some components, and the mobile side is also very important. So this is part of one of the new launches for 2016. So the same experience that they have when they go online into the social media platform, they can have on their mobile device. So the goal is that we can get in the moment and at any time their experience, and having contact with HBO channel, they'll be able to share with us the experience in their, ongoing ideas and opinions. So we do a lot of co-creation as well, concept testing. And the programming trackers, we've moved it to this platform as well. Instead of running 20, 30-minute surveys, we just post a small group set of questions and mini surveys, along the entire month. And gamification has also played a key role in the engagement strategy. So, for example, we work with the social media team in this new Game of Thrones season. Before the premiere, we created a social media campaign. And just in 1 week, we recruited more than 5,000 new users because they wanted the badge as Game of Thrones expert. So as they responded correctly to the previous seasons, they would, active the expertise level based on their knowledge. So it's been very It's been a learning process during the launch of this product. During the last 2 years, we've evolved this community. And the HBO is really very happy with the new type of insights and the level of engagement. And it started inside the market research department, but nowadays it's involving social media, marketing, because as you can see, it's really a brand engagement platform. And so we can imagine that with these dialogues and ongoing conversations and user-generating content inside the community, they can also, we are integrating this new integration with Facebook and external social media platforms. So if they want, they can share with us their private Facebook data, and they can link with their Twitter account. So we can also integrate, data from external social media. And we've used Tableau as the business intelligence and data visualization reporting tool. So, the HBO research team and the marketing team can follow all of these analytics and all of these results in real time. And also we do a lot of data aggregation, and eCmetrics data science team, work a lot with these data sets in order to extract the better insights for them. So the key takeaways with this experience and thinking about what's the market research platform of the future, as Ivan talked, we see really an integrated platform. We should not think about communities or mobile or social media analytics or big data as separate things. I think that we should think about everything together. And more than ever, we need to collaborate with people, because they are really the protagonists. We should not see people as respondents or a piece of data or information that we use, we discard, we classify, and then we go to the next one. So it's very important that we create this continuous engagement. So for us, the future is now. It's data-driven. Integration of techniques and methods is a must. And building trust, engagement, collaboration of consumers as well. Thank you. I think that we rushed a little bit, but it's better to have more time.
That was great. Thank you very much. So we have some time for questions. Wait for the mic, if you would.
Thanks. Just a quick question. To what extent do you think the success of a social type community depends on the engagement with the brand? So for instance, HBO, I think maybe people are really passionate about the brand. I work for Capital One. Maybe people aren't as passionate about credit cards. I'm just curious to get your perspective on that.
Yes, definitely. We see it's an interesting question. It's very relevant as well, because we have similar communities for other clients, such as DirecTV. And of course, we don't see the same level of engagement of the HBO core hard fans, for Game of Thrones and their series. So yeah, we have other challenges and other engagement strategies depending on the client segments. And in the case of HBO, of course, we run some parallel studies with a general panel and with the people inside this social media platform. And it's easy to compare and see some KPIs that they are hard fans and really follow the channel. And even with this platform, we've realized that people, they are non-HBO subscribers, but they're looking for HBO information. You've heard about all of this piracy and people downloading, Game of Thrones and this content. So it's been a platform that we are generating new type of insights and target new segments for these people. They are not subscribers and hard, to find in other source, but they are coming to this community because they are looking for, HBO content and wanting to engage with the brand.
Yeah, just to add up, for those type of things, I understand what you're saying, that you're not really much engaged or passionate. We try to actually look, and actually that happened as well. There was a company where, we were kind of brainstorming about that. And basically one of the things, or one of the ideas would be to, talk about specific activities that are perhaps not necessarily related to the brand, or at least, it could be related to a brand indirectly, but not just something about brand engagement, but about specific activity that would be passionate. For example, we did this idea about, it seems that it doesn't seem quite, that integrated, but it's still, for a specific financial person, there was an area of donations, of charity that was something that was very passionate about. And so you can do some type of activities that somehow involve, that category itself. So just a question of being creative.
Hey, more questions over here? If you could, I'm sorry, if you wait for the mic.
You mentioned co-creation as one of the things you integrate there, and I'm wondering, is that live co-creation, like where the developers or the brand team, researchers, and consumers are all communicating at the same time?
Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah. We've done both. Because co-creation right now, everyone wants to do co-creation, right? And so basically it's easy to say, well, I'm just going to do a product testing, that's co-creation, and it's not really that, right? But we've done both. We've done one where we don't have the designers there, and the reason is because logistically it was kind of complex to do that. But what we did is in that case, what we do is they do create some type of a prototype, the consumers. So we tell them to create some type of concept that it's very easy to create a prototype, and then the designers go and do it. But then we've done the other one, where we have actually a designer in real life that actually is there and is giving us input, right? So they say, well, okay, yeah, they said they want to do it this way. So they start designing it. And so we've done both. But what I can tell you is difficult, really, to do it right in that way, where you actually would have the designer, right there, on the platform, right? So yeah, we've done both, and I think the idea would be you want to perhaps, in general, you want to be closer to that, to that part, to that second, case. Sometimes it's not easy as that. So you actually start creating. Kind of like they start creating prototypes. That's the way we've done it.
Okay, thank you, Adriana and Ivan.
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you.